Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the session 4 of Unit 1 Introduction to Estimation and Costing for the course Estimation and Costing for 6th semester Diploma Mechanical Engineering. Course code is 15ME61T. Myself, Muhammad Imran, lecturer in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Government Polytechnic, Karwar. So, today's session we are discussing the advantages of efficient costing, definition of various indirect expenses, define depreciation and its causes. Advantages of an efficient costing. Efficient costing means efficiency in the costing which you do. So, what are those advantages? It provides the data for comparison between actual cost and the estimated cost of an article. So, it provides the data for comparison between actual cost and the estimated cost of an article. That means, suppose for estimated cost is 100 rupees and the actual cost is 105 rupees. Where this 5 rupees extra cost it is coming, in which department it is generating. So all this data can be easily we can recover by the efficient costing. It gives the information regarding the profitable and unprofitable activities. So it gives the information regarding profitable and unprofitable activities. After adding all the expenses, if the cost is actual cost is more, then we come to know that it is profitable or not. That whether to manufacture this component is profitable or not. The estimation may not be accurate. In some cases, if the estimator has done some error, then in actual costing, the actual actual cost of the product will come to know, and after that we can decide whether it is profitable or non-profitable to manufacture the particular activity. It gives the information about this. It keeps control over selling price. So it keeps control over the selling price. By how to control means, if the total cost has come more than the uh, estimated cost, then we can reduce the profit in order to reduce the selling price. It can control the selling price by the actual cost can control the selling price. If the cost is very less, we can get reduce the profit, so that the price will be less, so that we can compete in the market. It helps in management in forming the policies for price determination. So it will make policies for price determination for management. It provides an effective check on wage system. It provides an effective check on wage system of the various laborers working in the company who are actually worked on that component. It helps in settlement of wage rate with the trade unions at the time of dispute. If the dispute occurs, they can show that these people are doing this operation, and we are getting this much of total cost, and this much of cost we are paying, so that we can settle that. Show that we can show that we cannot give more wages to the workers, because the actual cost are coming this much. So we can convince them during dispute. So it helps in tracing wastage, leakage and spoiled material. So it helps in tracing the wastage, leakage and spoiled material. So by guessing the actual cost and the estimated cost, we can guess the wastage, leakage and spoiled material. To help in tracing actual causes of reduction in profit. So we come to know that why the profit is reducing, by in which department the expense is more. We come to know the actual reason for the why the expenses is higher in particular department. It helps in deciding about purchasing the particular material to manufacture. As I told, after the manufacturing, if the cost of the product is more than the actual cost, if the actual cost of the product is more than the what we have quoted during the estimation, we come to know that whether to manufacture this component in the company or to purchase it from outside. Suppose if the company is manufacturing 4-5 components, so in particular assembly one component, we come to know that it is not profitable to manufacture in the company. Other than that, we can purchase that component from the uh, market or other company, so that will be profitable for our concern. We can decide these things. It provides data for overhead charges. Here overhead charges is nothing but indirect expenses. It helps in determining the efficiency of administrative and operative functions. It helps in comparing output of the person of the same trade. It provides information of detailed expenditure. It helps in planning department in deciding about the quantity of material required. Next, the definition of various indirect expenses. So the indirect expenses has three names. One is indirect expenses, other is overhead expenses. Overhead expenses is nothing but indirect expenses. So you must not confuse what is overhead expenses, what is indirect expenses, and it is also known as the third name, work on cost. So all three names indicates the indirect expenses. What is those? First one is overhead expenses, second one is on cost expenses, and third one is indirect expenses. So these are some indirect expenses, important indirect expenses. There may be a lot of indirect expenses. The important indirect expenses are as follows. First one is depreciation. Depreciation is a very important term in any company. What is depreciation? So it is defined as the efficiency and the value of the machine or asset reduces with the lapse of time during the use, which is known as depreciation. The efficiency and the value of machine or asset reduces or decreases with the lapse of time during its usage. It is known as depreciation. For example, if you purchase a new laptop, so in a particular month, suppose if you have purchased a new laptop for the year 2021 January, so what will happen on January 2022? If you purchase that laptop for 30,000, as in you guess it may be costlier, but I'm just giving the example. So if it is if you have purchased it for 30,000 for January 2021 this year, so the next year January 2022, so can you sell the laptop for the same rate? We can't sell because its efficiency, its value decreases. So that point, what you call that decrease in the value of the that laptop is known as depreciation. Not only for laptop, it is applicable for all the components. Even it is applicable for buildings, factory buildings. For example, I will give another example. Just like a bike, you will purchase a new bike this year for 50,000. So after 5 years of use, uh, can you sell it for same 50,000? No, not, it is not possible. So if you keep on its um, year, if you keep on adding the year, if you keep on use that bikes, or if you keep on use the laptop, what are the assets you have, its value decreases with the lapse of time. Its value and its efficiency both decreases with the lapse of time. So this is called as depreciation. So some money must be set aside yearly from the profit, so that equipment becomes economical. It can be replaced by one new one. So in the all the company, so the depreciation value is separately kept, and some value is every month or every um, yearly it is set aside for a particular asset. If you are having number of assets, for every asset you must have to prepare one separate depreciation account, and you have to deposit a particular amount what you have calculated the depreciation amount to that account. So at the scrap of that machine, at the end of the life of that machine, you can able to purchase the new machines or new asset with that same money. For example, um, if you have purchased a bike for 50,000 this year, assume that the life of the machine is the life of that bike is 10 years. So uh, its scrap value, maybe you are assuming that 5,000. Scrap value means after 10 years it is having one value, scrap value. So now how to calculate the depreciation per year? That is initial value minus scrap value divided by life of the year. So for example, now your bike value is 50,000 and the scrap value is 5,000. 50,000 minus 5,000 is 45,000 divided by life of the machine, that is 10 years. So divided by 10, that will become 4,500. 45,000 divided by 10, that will become 4,500 per year. So per year you need to deposit this amount yearly to somewhere in an account. So yearly if you keep on depositing 4,500 rupees, what will happen? After 10 years, the deposit amount will be 4,500 into 10 years, that will become 45,000, and you have the scrap value. After the 10 years, you will get scrap value of that machine or bike, that is 5,000. So 45,000 you have in your account. 45,000 plus 5,000, that will become 50,000. So you can purchase the new machine after the end of the 10 years. So this policies, this method is used in all the companies for every machines, for every lathe machines, it may be milling, whatever, buildings, everything. For every components, they are particularly depositing the depreciation amount is deposited into particular account. So this will be added in your component. Why the component the cost varies? Say Coca-Cola, it costs only 5 to 10 rupees, 5 to 65 to 70 paisa or 1 rupees per bottle. But the cost of that product is 10 rupees. Why? Because that 9 rupees where out of. So for everything, these things, depreciation, advertisement, everything, these expenses, indirect expenses, labor expenses. So all those expenses, after adding all these expenses, this cost will increase. So depreciation amount is added in all the components. Okay. So you come to know the clear picture about the depreciation. It is a account term. It is a accounting term. The depreciation is a accounting term. You must know, if you must ask the account person, they know completely about depreciation. So obsolescence, next is obsolescence. Obsolescence is the depreciation of the existing machinery or asset due to new and better invention of design, equipment or process, etc. Obsolescence is one kind of depreciation. Why this depreciation have occurred? Because of new and better invention or design of equipments, process, etc. How? Suppose a factory owner purchases a machine for the production shop, but after some duration, better machines comes in the market whose production rate is high and much economical. Although the old machine is efficient, but becomes out of fashion and uneconomical due to new better machines. Hence, some money should be also set aside for this from the profit. Obsolescence is, I will give a simple example. If you have purchased a new mobile that is having 4G connectivity, what will happen? Just now you have purchased it. For example, you have purchased it in this year January. So after 2-3 months, for the same price, the market has released 5G mobile, which is having high internet speed. The 4G is only during your period, during January, 4G is the only highest data speed. So, but for the same price or somewhat negligible amount increment, they have released, the market has released 5G mobiles for the almost same price. What will happen now? So this mobile what you are using is good. It is having good efficiency, good camera, good display, everything is good, but it has become out of fashion because of the new machine, new mobile has launched. So that will become obsolescence. This kind of depreciation is known as obsolescence. It is applicable for machines also. If a company has purchased one new machine that is updated in that during that period, but after some years and a better and new machine has come in the market for the same price and its production rate is high, then what will happen, though if this machine is good, having good efficiency, but it has become out of fashion, and so that is known as, that kind of depreciation is known as obsolescence. Next is inadequacy. Inadequacy is a functional depreciation of machine or asset due to reduction in efficiency even under proper service maintained, which is due to increase in demand. For example, after 2-3 years of running, the demand might increase, but the plant cannot cope with the increased demand. This needs additional money either to replace with bigger sized machinery or installation of more plants of size. Inadequacy means is a functional depreciation. So what will happen if a company is manufacturing some component with a particular machine? So what will happen if the component has become highly successful in market? So the demand has come for that market. Much demand has come for that market. Now the company is using that one machine only for manufacturing that component, but now the demand is more. Now the company is not able to attend the demand because this particular product is manufactured, particular machine is manufacturing only a certain amount of product at a time. So the company cannot cope up with it. They must purchase the new machine. So now this machine will become inadequate. So that is called as inadequacy. Though it is having maintained in a good service, good efficiency, but due to the market demand, this machine is incapable of meeting the demands of the customer. So they have to go for purchasing a new machine, better machine, or same kind of machine, another machine they have to purchase in order to cope up the marketing demand. So then that machine will become inadequate. This is called as inadequacy. Next, idleness. Idleness is of two kinds: idleness of machine, idleness of workers. Idleness of machine, what is that? This is the time when the machine remains idle without doing any useful work. So when the machine remains idle without doing any useful work, then it is known as idleness. During the idleness, it is not the problem of the operator, but he has not. This is because improper supervision. So the components which has to come for this particular machine as somewhere machining. So he has to wait for the that operation has to complete. He has to wait until that operation has to complete. So during that period, he has to wait. The machine is in idle. So though the worker has to pay salary for that idle time, because it is not his problem. He is not intentionally idling the machine, but it is idling because of the improper supervision or something. So that is called as idleness. Or the machine is not doing any useful work during the work is known as idleness. This is also because during setup of machine. So after the removal of components from the particular machine, what will happen? The machine become idle till the new components is set up to that machine. Until that, that is after the completion of the component to the next starting of the machining of the component, during that period also the machine remains idle. So reason for this are mechanical reasons. This is due to breakdown of machine. So there may be a reason of breakdown of machine. It is not intentionally done by the operator. It has breakdown because of the improper maintenance repairs, or maybe its life is over, whatever may be the reason. Uh, this is due to breakdown of machine. Power failure. Power failure. The power is not there means how to operate the machine. The power connection has short circuited, or the power line is not came. The power line uh, broke out. Something maybe power issues and accidents of the machine. Accident of some machine also will make the machines idle. Bad planning. So bad planning is of the supervisor. This is due to the bad plan of not engaging the machine to their full capacity, providing more machines, or lack of supervision. Lack of supervision also may leads to idleness of machine. Then the idleness of worker. Here the same thing. Instead of machine, the operator remains idle without doing any useful work. Then it is known as idleness of worker. The reason for this is due to worker personal reason like lockout, strikes, accident, natural cause. Like during strike period, labor will not work, or during accident of the machine happens, or accident of a person who is working in the machine happens. Natural cause. If he has gone to attend the natural cause, that time the operator remains idle. Next, mechanical reason. This is due to mechanical reason like power failure. Same reason of this idleness of machine. Um, Reason like power failure. During this power failure, both machine and both workers remains idle. All these reasons, mechanical reasons like power failure, breakdowns, um, accident. In every these things reasons, both machine and workers remains idle. Supervisor, supervisory. This is due to poor supervision, like allowing the workers for gasping, wandering unnecessarily, keeping them wait for receiving instruction, etc. Telling them to wait until I give the instructions. Like if some instruction is there for a particular component, uh, you have to make them idle without receiving the instruction. You should not start the machining. This kind of messages will make the worker idle. Next, repair and maintenance. Repair is the process of bringing the defective machine into efficient working condition. Every machine has to repair to some time or other during a course of its useful life. Maintenance is the process of cleaning, lubricating, checking machines thoroughly from the time to time to replace the worn out parts. Maintenance yields good condition of machine, increases the life of machine, removes unnecessary delay in the product. Next, the depreciation and its causes. We come to know what is depreciation. It is the loss in the value of machine, uh, loss loss in the value and the efficiency of the machine with the lapse of time during its usage. So causes for depreciation are depreciation due to physical condition, depreciation due to functional condition. In physical condition, we have wear and tear, physical delay, accidents, deferred maintenance and neglect. In functional condition, we have inadequacy and obsolescence, which I have studied earlier. These are wear and tear. After a particular usage, all the machinery will wear and tear, so that will reduces the efficiency and um, life efficiency and value of the machine. Physical delay, this is due to certain components like electric cable, insulation. Because of climatic atmospheric effect, the loss in value of machine is called as depreciation by physical delay. Accident, this is due to accident due to some wrong operations or some loose components or some other causes. Deferred maintenance means the proper not maintaining the machines properly without proper oiling, lubrication, removing of chips, everything. Inadequacy, you know that I have studied, to fall in machine. This is due to fall in efficiency of the machine with increased demand. Obsolescence, this is due to scientific advancement like new invention. depreciation of machine due to obsolescence due to new invention or advancement in the machine that causes the depreciation of machine. So thank you for watching this session.